There's a lot of interesting stuff that happened in the Denver Nuggets game against the Los Angeles Clippers, their third preseason game where they debuted a new defensive scheme, showed what it looked like in the zone, and even the double big lineups with Jokic and Valanciunas. Let's go into the tape and check out the details. First thing we're going to see, a new defense here. Pickup point at half court. Denver's mixing up whether they pick up at three-quarter court, half court, or all the way back at the three-point line, depending on what scheme they're running. What I like about this one is you can see there's only one guy back here in Collins. Four guys are here in the backcourt, so Denver knows they can bring their defense and be a little bit more aggressive. Cam steps up to wall off, and as a result, you're going to see Denver's able to slow them down, not let them turn the corner, and then match up. The next thing is the important thing here, which is Denver in their pick and roll coverage in previous years would bring Jokic up the floor a lot more. You're vulnerable to the roll guy catching a pocket pass, and then you're playing in rotation. So instead what they're doing is they're bringing the guard one pass away and stunting him all the way over to be the guy that stops the ball. You see Christian Brown now allows Jokic to stay in the paint, so that pocket pass isn't going to go anywhere. But you are vulnerable now to these shots out here. Denver's okay with that. They're going to give up contested looks from opposing teams' fourth and fifth option. Derrick Jones Jr. takes the shot. Denver has great rebounding position. This is a vulnerability to shots one pass away, but Denver's going to live with it. That's the sacrifice they're going to make so they don't get in rotation. Once again, pickup point is at half court, so you're going to try to slow the game down a little bit. You get the exchange here, and then as Harden drives, you see the pickup point. One pass away stops the ball. Denver is not going to allow themselves to get into the ball to get into the paint, and then they're in transition. But you are vulnerable a little bit to those one pass away. It's John Collins. He takes an early three. You see only 13 seconds on the clock, and he hits this one. Teams are going to hit some of these, but you're going to force more and more shots into their other players. Now you have Chris Paul, good ball handler, and so the pickup point is three-quarter court. You're going to try to get the ball out of his hands, and now you have the ball into your secondary ball handler, and the pressure is way back here. You want them entering the ball from their secondary ball handlers. Now you see that Bruce Brown is way off of his defender for this pick and roll, one pass away, almost at the exact halfway point of the court, and it's okay. You're forcing the ball into his hands. P. Watt, out of their zone, comes in, is able to disrupt the play a little bit. And now, with 9 seconds on the clock, Denver goes from their zone scheme into man. You can see Jamal Murray rotates over to find a guy, and everybody's matched up. The reason is, when you're in man-to-man for 24 seconds, you're likely to get into transition and pick and roll. When there's only 8 seconds on the clock, there's not enough time for multiple passes, so Denver matches up, knowing they only have to make one read, pick and roll, Val jumps, falls for the head fake. This shot here, a one-dribble sidestep three from your center. Brook Lopez drains it, but this is good process. Denver's going to live with it. Not many teams are going to make a bunch of threes from their second-string center. They'll live with this. Next play, we have something very similar here. Look at how far Bruce Brown gets. Once again, he is halfway. One pass away, leaves this much space, but you're not going to let Kawhi Leonard get into the paint. The trade-off is you're now vulnerable. Julian has to split the difference between a cutter and here, but the pass is so far that there's time to recover. Kawhi Leonard makes the pass. Julian bites on it. Quick one-touch pass from Nick Batum, which is really good, but you still get a contested shot from your worst option, your fifth option. Denver's going to live with this, and there's four guys ready to rebound. So that's a big part of their new defensive scheme. Once again, Chris Paul bringing the ball up, pickup point is full court, get it out of his hands, and now your secondary ball handler is Collins. Bruce Brown's going to step up now. They don't want the ball out of Collins' hands. They want him to enter, so he's a little lower. And then this is where Denver is junking things up. Get physical. What we see with Denver all the time. Jokic is a big. Little guys are allowed to get away with murder. Denver's going to try to flip the script now. Bruce Brown is little, and look at how handsy he gets with John Collins. Really physical. Arm around the waist. Usually this might be a trade-off here in your zone. You're going to switch guys, but they like Peyton Watson on Kawhi Leonard. So Bruce, get down in the post and keep fighting. Look at how physical he gets. Same thing. 24 seconds, he's just getting physical with Collins, gives up no space. Collins shoots an air ball, and Bruce Brown wants to let the Clippers bench know about it as he has something to say for him. Other direction now, pickup point, it's Kawhi Leonard. You're going to put the big body on him and Aaron Gordon, and he's going to just wall him up. As you get into your pick and roll here, look at how high Jokic is this time. Instead of being in the drop, the side pick and roll. You're going to try to trap the ball in the corner here, and he picks the ball up 45 feet from the basket. So when this pass comes, Christian Braun, who's playing one pass away, gets all the way over from his guy to force. He's got a foot outside the three-point line. He's going to force the catch. Zubac tries to clear out a little space here, but this allows now, because Tim Hardaway has to guard 2, that's a tough spot to be in, but because the pass was so high, the catch was so high, Jokic is able to come back, poke the ball away, and they're able to scramble well enough that Jokic can get inside to help out and force the block shot. So Denver, much more aggressive with their guards, playing in the stunt, playing one pass away. That's the big change. Now you're going to see the double big lineup. This is the first possession the two bigs are on the floor together. And the first note is that Denver has chosen Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther as the 3 other players. Not the best spacing for 2 centers, but they're electing more to cover with defensive length, as opposed to shooting on the offensive end, trusting instead that they can play inside on offense. And what you see here is the first thing you try to get Jokic the ball, little pick and roll action, and now we got the switch for Kawhi Leonard. The biggest player is probably going to take Val because he's the biggest player for the Nuggets, which means your second biggest player is going to take Jokic. They switch this action in the empty corner, and so Jokic's going to go post up. Christian Braun could probably be a little bit more patient here so that Jokic can establish position, but he sees an opening. He sees that opening for a reason, because Zubac is just going to leave the paint open, playing full-on help in case Jokic gets the ball in the post. Christian Braun takes a dribble here, which I don't mind, but if you're going to drive when the double big lineup is here, you're going to have to get into the paint. Force Zubac to step up and make a choice. Instead, Christian picks the ball up here, and now Zubac gets away with not guarding anyone and just walling off the paint. Christian Braun doesn't go anywhere, and he ends up getting the ball out, and now the team is perfectly matched up, and there's nothing going on. Denver is able to run a basic pick and roll and still get an action. Dunn almost gets the steal here. Jokic has those bear paws and gets it inside. But here's the vulnerabilities. Who are your spacers? Valanciunas, Christian Braun. They're not going to get a lot of respect. Julian probably should have kicked it out anyway and just gone with that, as opposed to contesting your center at the rim. Not really a great process on that possession. On the defensive end, you're going to run zone. So before they were picking up Chris Paul, when they were running man, picking up Chris Paul full court, now that they're in a zone, they want to pack their zone. They want to stay tight, so Christian Braun is deep. And what you're going to see here is, first and foremost, it takes the Clippers 10 seconds just to get their offense set up once they recognize that a zone is being played, which is nice. You throw off, it's like a curveball. The next thing you're going to get is Jokic has to guard the corner. Here's the thing you're worried about giving up is corner threes. Jokic plays in between. Kawhi Leonard thinks about shooting. Instead, he tries to drive. P-Watt does a great job defending. And now you're at 7 seconds on the clock, and they haven't gotten into anything. The one vulnerability you have on plays like this, look at how high up the floor Jokic is, above the foul line. This is your vulnerability spot. Dunn sees it. He's going to try to set the screen. I think Jokic's going to have to be aware in these moments and sink a little bit more. If Dunn catches the ball in this zone, you're not really concerned. So I think Jokic's going to have to play a little bit deeper. But he takes a look back. He sees the screen is coming, and he just flops it, and he gets the call. A total flop. But that's the vulnerability. If they didn't call that, it's a wide open three-pointer for Kawhi Leonard. Jokic's going to have to be careful with his levels defensively in that zone. Next offensive possession is the one we remember. Little zipper screen to get the ball open on the wing, and then the cross screen. And what did I tell you? You have Zubac on Valanciunas. Rather than fight through this, they're just going to switch so that Collins can front the post. Everybody is going to try to front the post against Val. And so Jokic, anticipating that, flashes high, and now you have the high-low option. Jokic can throw the ball over. What you're looking for is to throw the ball over here, and then you get an easy layup. Zubac is a smart defender. He knows that's what's going to happen, so he stunts. He's not in position to guard Jokic. Jokic sees that, so rather than fight it, Jokic just steps right into a nice feathery little jumper. Very simple action to get a nice little shot for Jokic. Next play, pickup point, once again, almost at the three-point line because you're in that zone. Now they're a little bit more set. They've seen it one time. They're a little more set. And before, Kawhi Leonard had this shot but did not take it. Jokic, once again, is trying not to guard him but to wall off the pass to the corner. So Kawhi anticipates that and takes the quick three. He misses it. Teams will hit this shot, and they will put their shooters there trying to get quick threes off it. But the thing is, if you take a three with 18 seconds on the clock and miss it, the defense didn't have to do anything. You basically gave them a possession off. That's what happens here. Denver secures the board, and now they're going the other way. The zone worked to force the shot you wanted them to take. Jokic fights with Kawhi here trying to get position. He can't get it, and they can't get the ball into him. So Val's flashed high. And now you see he tries to get it. But what Zubac is doing is basically saying, we'll give Val everything. We're just going to double Jokic inside. Jokic sees it and tells him basically take the shot. I don't love a steady diet of this shot. If Denver's getting that, they're going to have to adjust. What I would rather do is shot fake this one so you can get Jokic into the post against Kawhi, which is a good option. Denver's going to have to really figure out a couple little wrinkles. I mean, this was day one of trying this offense, but that shot, not necessarily a great one. And every time the other team will get a stop against Denver's Twin Towers, you have to match up in man-to-man the other way. You can't get into your zone. So you have to pick up the ball, and now everybody has a man. And this double big lineup is going to struggle in man-to-man coverage. You're going to see it here, a little pick and roll with Dunn, who's not exactly a great pick and roll player, and you just have enough spacing for Zubac to get into the paint and score. So scoring with the double big lineup is going to be extra important because it allows you to get set up in your zone the other direction. Come back down the other way, and here's another vulnerability of this offense. You're just running some basic delay offense now. You want to get the ball to Jokic in the post, but what happens is because you don't have a ton of shooting in this lineup, watch it Kawhi Leonard here and how he goes deep under the screen. That's going to leave Peyton Watson open, and just like Kawhi took that early three, Peyton takes this three. He's open. It's not a horrible shot. But you also have to understand when you have the double big lineup in there, one of the values of having them is you get offensive rebounding positions. Neither Jokic nor Val are in position to rebound, so that shot loses a little value because you basically gave a shot with no chance to take advantage of your double bigs. Because it was because they missed the shot, Christian Brown is in man. He picked up full court. You saw him get the ball out, and now you're playing in transition. They were able to get a quick shot and a foul, and that's the vulnerability. So you have to score with this double bigs. The last play, that was the last one of the double big lineup. This is the last play I just wanted to show you is this is delay. You have two guys on this side of the floor, two guys on this side, and Jokic at the top. This is their like base offense. What I like is that look at the angle he takes here. A lot of guys will take the angle here, and you're just going to get a switch. He takes this angle. This is the Christian Brown angle on the flare screen because by taking this angle, you're not switching it. Collins is just going to fight over the screen on Aaron Gordon. Derek Jones Jr. is going to show just a little bit, which allows for the slip from Tim Hardaway Jr. He sets it, slips. You can see how he was off balance. We just rewind a little bit. Look at Derek Jones Jr. has to help for a second. And it gets him off balance. Helps, off balance. And because of that, Kawhi Leonard has to leave the best three-point shooter on the team to get in, which leads to a wide-open three for Cam Johnson, and he drains it. Tim Hardaway Jr. taking a page out of the Christian Brown playbook. Those are the things I found interesting, or just some of the things I found interesting about the Denver Nuggets in that third preseason game. New defense, double big lineups, and the strengths and vulnerabilities of it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the double big lineup going to work? Is the new defensive scheme exciting? Let me know. Thanks for watching.